Sitting.
My
Go
yeah,
like this. Your camera.
my screen looks like that too, and I don't know why. It's like opened up differently or something.
Do you think it? I think it just looks like you've got water or something on your camera.
Yeah, well, I definitely don't.
Anyway.
I can
Oh,
see
it got better. Maybe it's condensation because you're up in Queensland.
that could be it because I am melting right now. Oh,
No.
but yeah, I noticed it before when I opened up the camera because I've been trying to fix like the light from coming in.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's okay. I know what you look like. Hey, I miss you. How are you?
Not good at all. And
Have I spoken to you? I don't think I have since we last spoke.
I haven't. No, you haven't spoken to me since Boss died. But I wish I had thought of it earlier. And yesterday was the first time I realised that I need to send you and Elaine an email, like a letter. Look, I know it's work outside of work, and I have health insurance, so you can charge me or whatever it is. This is fucking me off too, if that helps at all, right?
Don't worry, I'm okay.
So Merv, that's Moby. I'm using his real name because he's in the videos. Yeah. Last time.
Housemate.
Yeah. So the last time I spoke to you, and I just watched the video back. The last time we spoke, I literally said to you, if I get through this session without breaking down, I think it will be a literal miracle because I do not remember a day that I have not cried in the last over a week and a half.
Why?
Exactly. So I'm aware of the fact that I'm a person who not everybody understands or accepts, yeah? But, so, first of all, I just feel, Jackson! Jackson! Sorry. Just keep in mind I'm on a video call, yeah? Yeah, sorry, so, I feel so stupid, Nicole. I feel like I just got swept up in being so happy because it was so new and everything was so good. And I was so happy. But we moved in with Merv, yeah, and Merv had told me, and he knows all of this, obviously. Merv, I had said to him, I need to meet the landlord, and he just kept saying, it's all good, everything's all good, like, my landlord knows I'm not managing the rent, and my landlord knows that I need a housemate, and he's even helped me look for one. So when I needed a home and he needed a housemate, it makes sense, yeah? Because we get along so well. And he is 72 and he's like been a professional senior constable paramedic for like over 40 years. So he's a smart, wise, normal fucking, I don't know, person. And he accepts me for me. He has seen me break down. He's seen me lose my mind. And he just accepts me. And it's good. It's just that he told me over and over and over again, everything's fine with the house. Everything is fine with the house. And I just feel so stupid. Because he told me that he was friends with the landlord. He'd known the landlord. He's lived here for over 5 years. The landlord lived across the street from his old rental. And when his old rental had to be, given up, that's when the landlord was like moving to this house. And, they were buddies. They would drink beer together after work. Like, they've known each other since Merv was a worker, you know, like he worked as a, yes, right? So
Okay,
obviously,
because I feel a butt come.
yeah. So boss got really, really sick when we came to Melbourne. The timing, I had never ever left him alone before. And I promised him I never would. And I just feel so bad because he was struggling with the heat. And I knew that. And we got the security cameras so we could watch them. And I don't know if they just haven't been set up properly or not, or what happened, because none of the sensors or anything went off to alert us that anything was wrong, which in a way is a very, very good thing, because we got to Melbourne on the 14th of November, I remember, because the car was booked in for the Friday the 15th, which coincidentally he took $450 of my money, and the car is in exactly the same situation. Nothing works, the air conditioning is so... We got a phone call. The boss had a really, really severe seizure. And he was really, really, really sick. He was at the vets. And the vets, they were able to keep him comfortable. But we were in Melbourne, and everything we were told that would be done was not done. The house I walked into was a fucking disaster. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And Merv and I were just like, oh my God, what are we going to do? You need to speak louder. Sorry, what was that?
What was meant to happen that didn't happen? Like,
it was like they had told me that they'd sent me the photos, so they knew exactly what I was taking and what I wasn't taking, and they had told me that they would, you know, have the box of the books and the paperwork and all the shit from inside the stuff. They would be in the boxes. It was
from your old house.
Yeah, because there is still someone staying in the old house, right?
Yeah.
And they promised us to make it easier, and at least if nothing else, I thought that the house would have been in at least the condition it was when I left it, because the whole fucking reason I left Victoria at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on that day was because I wanted the house in a state that when I walked back into it, it wouldn't cause me what happened when I did. And then we just had to get into like, it was just non-stop. It was just, we just had to go, we had to pack, and the person staying there was no help whatsoever. Juice was helping what he could, but then had multiple people leave the job, and he was just running flat tack, and I had to get my sister and her partner to come and help us. And the kids, they were sick, and they were in the room, and I barely got to speak to them, and it was just such a fucking nightmare. And then we got called by the guy who I call Dollar Man, and he is a man who I am... He is the reason I didn't get to send you the email last night, but we'll get to that. We get a phone call from this man. This man is, mind you, the man who owns the fucking discount store up here, who has had Merv as a best friend for over 30-something years, which I say best friend for because he is the most disrespectful, selfish, arrogant son of a bitch I think I've ever met in my whole life, and I smoked fucking ice for years, and this man tops it.
This is the guy when you first went up there that you met, and then he introduced you to Merv, right?
He didn't introduce me to Merv. He told me his friend helps him out at the shop. And when I went in the second time, I met Merv. What he didn't tell me is that Merv is basically a slave, right? Because that's a whole fucking different story.
Yeah.
Okay? But anyway, he was the one looking after the dog. So he got Boss into the vet, thank fuck, right? And the vets, I just kept saying, I don't know what to do. Like, I could barely forgive myself for leaving him in the first place. Like, I knew he was struggling with the heat. I knew that. And I bought the bigger. I don't need it too much because I need them to be able to hear the video. I thank you. I bought the bigger cats, yeah, because I just hate myself. I hate myself. I said to Merv, Boss has separation anxiety. I thought he'd be okay because Jackson was here. Because Taliban and his kids had promised they would come and make sure there wasn't just food and water, but
What happened?
I completely forgot that Boss did the same thing with water that he did with food. And I can't hear the whole story because my mind has too much of a vivid imagination, but I've had enough of the story told from different perspectives of the old man and the neighbours and everyone, and it's anyway. He was at the vet for 4 days. When we rushed to get home, Merv drove all through the night because we couldn't find anyone that was open. We just drove, and in the end, we got home up here to Queensland at 4:30 in the morning on Friday the 22nd of November. And we went to sleep for a little bit. And when we got home, I just kept procrastinating. Because I knew that I had to say goodbye. And I can't help but blame myself. I blame myself for all of it, everything. So much has happened. Boss died. And I'm not handling it. But that isn't what's causing all of this. I thought I was making friends. I thought that Merv's friends who talked to me and included me did so because they liked me. I was not handling my grief with Boss, and I kept going back and forth between, can I handle having another dog and can I not handle having another dog, because I don't know how to grieve him without signing someone. Anyway, I lived it for a couple weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, and I'd been looking on Pet Rescue, and I just kept getting drawn back to this same profile, this same puppy. And it was a breed that I didn't know much about, and I had to do my own research. And yes, it was a big dog, but I only like big dogs because I want to have someone to lie next to and hug when I'm sleeping. And little dogs aren't the same. But I kept putting it off and off and off, and I just kept getting drawn back to it. And mind you, by this point, my furniture is here. All my address has changed. My car registration, my license, everything's changed because I was so happy and I was
Making a life there.
That's what I thought. And now I just feel like I fucked everything. I just...
Tell me the next bit of the story. Then I don't know what.
We were jogging around and something, and Jackson did something. That's Merv's dog, yeah?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, aren't you a happy chappy? And it finally registered. The dog that I kept getting brought back to, his name was Chappy, but it said he liked to be called Happy, like Happy Chappy. And I just thought it was so cute. And it was kind of like one of those, you know, I have looked at this profile for over a dozen times, and his name is Happy Chappy, you know, and I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna create a profile and I'm gonna just inquire, you know, like there's no harm in inquiring. And so I did. And I created the profile, and you know me, I'm not concise. So, you know, in my reasoning and everything, I explained the situation. And so they rang me in the morning, and I was so excited. And we talked for like 40 minutes. And the lady was like, you've answered all my questions without me even having to answer them. She's like, you would make an excellent dog owner. The dog is still available, and we would love to set up the meet and greet for you. We just need the following bits of paperwork, right? And one of the parts of paperwork that they needed was something stating that we were allowed dogs on the property since it's a rental. And Merv was like, yeah, of course, it's not an issue. You know, we've got Jackson, and the tenants before him had dogs, and before him, and
there's to discriminate against having animals now.
Exactly, right? Exactly. But Merv did something that I know he thinks, and at the time, I could see where he was coming from, but in hindsight, I could see it just fucked everything up. Because Merv had been telling me about how amazing this landlord was, how he'd always done good to him because he's on a pension. Now they've known they're friends, for crying out loud. How that at the same time each year he would come and they would have a sit-down conversation face to face and discuss the rent, yeah, and the rental increases and everything like that, right? And obviously Merv assumed that would be exactly the same because, like I said, he and the landlord had already talked about the fact that Merv very much needed a housemate. And I had asked Merv so many times, when do I get to meet him? I need to meet him. I have to meet him. And this is why I'm so angry at myself. Because I trusted And I don't blame Merv, but I blame myself because I just trusted everything would be fine. Because why wouldn't it be?
Yes.
But Merv thought it was wise. And I don't know why anymore. To go and talk to the landlord and then tell him about me. Tell him what kind of a person I am. Which is effectively given this landlord, a man who has till date not as yet even given me the respect of a sit down, meet me, proper anything. He immediately judged me based by whatever Merv said. And Merv keeps swearing black and blue he didn't say anything bad. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what you think you said. Something was said because this man has just decided that he doesn't like anything about me and he doesn't even know me. And so we Merv messaged because he was like, I have a lease somewhere, but I don't know where. And the lady with the pet thing was like, we need the paperwork stating that, you know, the landlord is okay. And she's like, all you have to do is send a text message and just send us the screenshot. And I was so happy. Like, I was floating on air. I thought that I'd found my new best friend. Like, I'm grieving and everything is so good. And so Merv messages him and is like, you know, Liv's dog passed away. She's looking to get a new one. We just needed him writing, you know, whatever. We thought that would be it. It wasn't. The landlord then made Merv go over and have a conversation, which I was not even privy to. And then asked all these questions about the dog and what kind of dog and all these dogs. And because Merv knew that it was a particular dog I was looking at and what the particular breed was, and it was a bull Arab, by the way, and I researched it because I was not willing to, like, they need work. But I was in such a good place, you know, like I was...
So the landlord said no.
The landlord said his daughter had bull Arabs. Bull Arabs are the worst dog. There is absolutely no way, no how I am allowed a bull Arab. But not only that, I'm not allowed a large dog at all. In fact, he told Merv and literally stipulated to the height and size of the dog that I'm allowed. And I'm fairly certain that's illegal. So then he sends Merv a message, no face thing, no nothing, and just goes, I'm increasing your rent by $250 a fortnight. Just that's it, just texts
I
it.
don't think that's legal.
That's what I said. So I said to Merv, and I wasn't coping. But this is where I've said to Merv that I do not understand, and keep in mind, he is right here, so he obviously knows what the fuck I'm saying because we've had this conversation. I just said to Merv, I don't understand what is happening. This person that you've explained to me doesn't exist from what I can tell. Merv has lived here for over 5 years. Every single time to date, it has been face to face. It has been a nice conversation, and the absolute most amount that's ever been risen is $50. And this time, he just sent a straight out rent is being increased by $250 a fortnight.
Let me ask some questions.
Let me finish the story.
So, yeah.
Because I rationally speaking, if I had been able to calm down, like I asked Merv to please ask him that we could have a conversation with him in face to face, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a 45.45% increase fortnightly of rent, right? And he's discriminating against what even type of dog I'm allowed, yeah? So he still won't give me any respect, right? And he comes in to fix something that he's been telling Merv he'll fix for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm in a mess pretty much, right? Because I just don't understand what is happening, because it's like, oh my God. And I was reading the Queensland Rental Tennessee legal paperwork. I had it in front of me and I was reading it because he was breaking the law. And then I said to him, I at least need you to say something in writing about this, because if absolutely nothing else, I have to tell Centrelink. So does Merv. I was like, you're like, the rent increase is substantial, yeah?
Yes.
If we'd been allowed to have time to calm the fuck down without any of this going on, and this is why I am not coping at all, because I blame myself for all of it. I can see now, obviously, that we very much could have managed the rent with the increase when you work it out at a weekly per person rate, right? It is still an absolute insane amount to increase a person's rent by, when you know that the person needed someone in to help pay the rent in the first place. So it wasn't helping Merv anyway, you know. But when I asked for the paperwork to at least have it for Centrelink, he just kept arguing, and he just got more and more disrespectful, and I couldn't, Nicole, I couldn't handle it, and I had to get up, and I walked out, and I went and sat in the garage, and I just cried, and I cried, and I finally calmed down, and he'd left. And I'd been going over and over and over it in my head. And I just said to Merv, just please call him. Tell him I'm sorry, but like, I just don't understand why, like, I wasn't even given the respect of a conversation. I did something that really hurt my arm throughout the night. So if I keep making faces, I keep forgetting not to move in. Anyway, Merv calls and is like, you know, we'll accept it, we'll do whatever you want, can you please just provide the paperwork for us for Centrelink? And instead he put the house on the market, and he told us on Christmas Eve. So the house is up for sale. He always told Merv he'd try to sell to an investor, you know. We've obviously, like, they've come through, they've done all the photos. Mind you, the house looks amazing considering how much work we've put into it. This is the first house since the house I literally owned that I felt so good in, and I felt safe, and I felt secure. There's already been...
house, Olivia, it's your supports, and it's Merv, and it's you. And
Speak up, please, speak up. It's not for the camera. I can't even hear you, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's just because it's a long way away. I think it's not the house that makes it a home. It's not the house that makes it safe. Sure, it's a beautiful house, but
Nicole, we're both pensioners. There are far and few rentals between. There's a rental crisis in this country. There are full working families with kids, with full working parents. You are a part of one of them who live in tents. We've looked, yeah, okay. The real estate agent is selling the house. She's like, I'll do what we can to help get, sell to an investor or find you a rental or whatever it is. But when it all said and done, she just wants the commission, and she made that fucking pretty clear on the Friday. But we have realised, and she said it herself.
I take it nobody has a magical $500,000 they could just buy the house?
Unless you want to buy an investment. That's what I said to my brother. But like, basically, the few rentals there are, and in and around the area, they're like all $500 a week plus in rent. There's a law or something about the percentage you can pay. And the thing is, even the real estate agent said, she's like, for the few houses that go up, which is not often, there's always dozens of applications, and they're gone within days. I don't want to look at rentals. I don't want to go through the process of, excuse me, I feel like I've got Merv has a caravan. It's a longer than normal caravan. It was something he was working on for him and his wife before she passed. He has renovated it in the sense of instead of having like a normal caravan size double bed, it's got two separate king size single beds, and instead of having like your normal table with the bench seats, they've been taken out with full like rocker, recliner, adjustable, whatever the fuck, chairs and footrests. It's got like a full oven and stovetop, microwave,
Where does
shower.
the live? Like, where does it go?
So it's got a shower, flushable toilet, and air conditioning, right? This house doesn't. Anyway, so the house, this gets me back to my first point about me being confused with people. So the caravan is being housed at a property 2.5 hours away or so on a farm of friends of Merv's. Of Merv and his wife, right? It's been there for a number of years. Like, it hasn't even been looked at or opened in over 2. So you can imagine the state, right? And anyway, we were organising to go and get it, right? Because literally that's what we're moving into. Like, if someone doesn't buy this house as an investor, which obviously I would love more than anything, but I'm being extremely realistic. Anyway, I've met these people so many times, yeah? And they've always been so nice to me. Except for the time I saw them last, which I just didn't understand at the time, and now it makes so much sense. So, Dollar Man, right? When I met them, that Merv just helped out once in a while, Dollar Man makes them work like a 40-hour week and doesn't even, like, he can't even put back in 5 minutes to walk across the freaking car park to go to Woolworths. Like, it's insane, yeah? And I'm not seeing, because I live with it, how badly Merv is being taken advantage of. Like, this man doesn't ask Merv anything, he just drops it on him. He just, like, to give you the perfect example, he booked a holiday for his family and already booked to pay for it all, and then tells Merv the day so Merv will work. Well, Merv had a extremely bad accident on the day we got back with the caravan because it had a crack in the skylight, and the people whose farm had something over it, but it was meant to rain, and like,
So he went up there to fix it.
he went up there to fix it, and the ladder went out from him, and he went through the ladder, and the inside, the front, and the back of his shins are just like ripped open. He's covered in bruises. The back of his legs, like, I immediately wanted to call
let alone, anything else.
I immediately wanted to call the ambulance. And he was like, no. I was freaking out, so I called my friend, the neighbour, and then the neighbour from next door came over, and it turned out he had to help Merv even get out of the thing. And I'm standing there going, why am I the only one that thinks that he needs to be taken to a hospital, right? And everyone's like, no, it's fine. And Merv's, got his he used to be a paramedic, so they're all joking around. And I'm saying, yeah, the wounds that we can see, some of them absolutely should have had stitches. But it's not even just that. The way he fell, the way he is, the lumps, the bumps, the shit that I saw before the neighbours got here. Obviously, he kept saying, I can't have broken anything. I said, don't say that bullshit to me. People break shit all the fucking time and don't know about it until they test it. I said, for all we know, you could have done more damage, right? And anyway, mind you, we're like these people who have the caravan, right? Like I said, being absolutely super nice to my face. I thought I was becoming friends with these people, yeah? And I just feel so dumb. Because the only thing that, like, we got back, Boss died on the 22nd, yeah? And it was like a week, if that. And these people came into the shop, right? Now, I happened to be at the shop because I had brought Merv lunch. Because I give a shit. Every day I was taking him extra water, drinks, sandwiches, food. I was being a good fucking friend. Anyway, I was there one day when they came in. And the husband, I just couldn't believe him. Like, I was so triggered. Like, anytime someone would mention Boss, I would break down, right? But these people are his friends, and I've just been trying so hard to just keep everything together. And anyway, this husband, cruels me. He literally just stands there and talks about Boss's death for over 10 minutes. And I am like behind the counter, and my hands are like under the desk, and I'm literally doing whatever I possibly can to get through this conversation before I broke, right? And they left, and I went straight to my car, and I couldn't drive home for over 10 or 15 minutes because that's how much I cried, right? And I thought everything was fine. Anyway, Merv had been trying to get a hold of them because the only thing he needed for the caravan for us to pick it up was for the tyres to be pumped up, and he'd asked if they could do it because they had a compressor. And he just kept saying, the reception out there's not good, and we're having trouble catching each other and fucking blah blah blah. Anyway, she calls the day before, and she was like, where he was driving, so it was on speaker, yeah? And she spoke in a way, in a tone that my anxiety just went like soaring. And she, the way she was speaking, she's like, the caravan is here, you could come tomorrow, what time will you leave? And Merv's like, 8. She's like, you'll be here by 12. why don't you answer your effing, texts? And then she just hung up, and I was like, what is going on? And Merv's like, I don't know, she must have just had a bad day, don't worry about it, yeah? So the following day, we're going out there, it's about 12:15, and we're in the place we're meant to be, but Merv can't remember the exact turn off, so we've made a wrong turn, yeah? And a text comes through, and it's like 12:15 maybe, and it's like, you're late, what kind of games are you playing? We've had enough. You must get the caravan off the property by sunset. It was just insane, this message. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at Merv, and I'm going, what the fuck is happening? Yeah?
Can I ask, how is Merv doing? There's a lot of rejection for him, too. Like, huge. Is he okay?
He's oblivious is what the fuck he is right now, okay? Because in the car, I said to him, none of this makes any sense. I need to read back a few. So I read back a few, yeah? And in it, and I only read, we were moments away from arriving at this people's place, mind you, these people who I had planned, I thought we were going to have a coffee and a chat, and I'd hoped to ask to use their bathroom. I truly thought that they might let me leave my car and my motorbike there. So I am none the wiser until we are moments away from this property, and I read back, and there are messages saying, things like, we need to talk to you without others around. She might be a part of your life, but she is definitely not a part of our life, right? It was just all directly related at me. And I'm crying and saying to Merv, how could you do this to me? How could you put me in this situation? I should not be here. I should be at home. I'm like, it clearly says it in the messages. Yeah, and I'm like, you have not responded to one thing that they've said about any of that. You've only responded directly to the fucking shit to do with the caravan. And so I had to sit in the car. I felt rude as hell. I was treated like I was invisible. And yet, mind you, something that morning told me to pack the last couple of rolled cigarettes I had. I haven't smoked a cigarette in so long, but I had a couple rolled ones, and I just thought, I need to take them for some reason. And so he has the trailer all hooked up. I can't do anything because I should not be there.
Yeah.
I sit in the car for as long as I can while they're doing the trailer shit behind me, and I'm just crying into a towel, just silently just crying into a towel. I wait until I can see that they've walked off to talk, so I walk out of the property and onto the road to have a cigarette. Merv pulls out with everything. I get in the car and I just immediately broke. Like, just how could he do this to me?
Not so much him. So let's talk about what happened. Did you have a chance to talk about what the issues are? Because I'm going to say something, and I don't want to seem negative about it, but let's say one of my friends had a very nice young lady come and live with him from Melbourne. Somebody who's never met before. And then they move in together. Great. Mutually beneficial. Fine. Okay. Do you think that there's, and I'm not saying that how they've
Just say it, woman. We're running out of time.
What if they are trying to make sure that Merv is safe and not...
That is exactly what they're trying to do. But the thing is, Nicole, I went back to the beginning of those messages when we got back, and I read them. And you know when those messages started? On the 14th of fucking November. The day we arrived in Melbourne. Before even Boss had gotten sick or died. They have been sending messages to Merv insinuating that I am a gold-digging, manipulating woman who has taken over his life. That is exactly what they're saying. But at no point has Merv corrected them. And I have said to Merv over and over and over and over and over again until I'm fucking blue in the face since I moved in here. I am sick to the back fucking teeth of people even insinuating that there's some kind of relationship between us, because it's actually sick in my fucking mind. Merv was 34 years old when I was born, and I'm going insane. But for them to be insinuating that I'm some manipulating, gold digging, fucking whatever the fuck I am, when I've come in and done nothing but make his life better, I literally said to him, how the fuck am I supposed to trust you anymore? Because he hasn't said shit. And I've asked him to since I met him. And he says things to me.
Has he not said anything verbally either?
Huh?
Has he said anything verbally?
No, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't until we even got back that I said to him, go back to those messages and read them again. Because it was only the night before that he says to me, oh, I skim read things. And I'm just thinking, people who skim read shit. Like, because he goes, you skim read stuff because your brain just fills it all in. I'm like, yeah, your brain filled in that they like me. I said, that man fucking tortured me. There is no other word for it as far as I am concerned. That man tortured me, drilling me about boss. And Merv and I have told Merv I am leaving like you wouldn't believe how many times. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm to do. I like living with Merv. I love living with Merv, and I do not want to live alone, and I don't want to not live with him. But I don't know what to do anymore.
I think you need to know that there's probably, I mean, there are reasons. He's given them to you. They're not great reasons, Olivia, but they're reasons.
It's not the point.
The only person whose opinion of you matters is your own.
Yeah, and right now I don't like me at all.
You know who you are, and you have to live according to your values, and you have to let everybody else's opinion bulletproof against it. Let it ting off like Teflon. Right now you're sticking and you're letting other people's opinion.
Oh, I'm so sick and tired of people saying that shit, eh? You don't think I don't know that? Remember what I told you about the first cunt of a doctor up here, right? Do you know what he actually said to me within a minute and a half of meeting me when I told you the last time that he said that as my brain is broken? He actually said to me, I would put my life on it that you have been sexually assaulted and that is why your brain is broken, and we're not going to be able to fix your body until we can fix your brain, but we're probably not going to be able to do that either. And I knew the man for about 2 fucking minutes. Now, I've had to find another doctor. The second time I went back to this dickhead doctor, I had asked for a script.
You went back?
I want to report him, yeah? I went back, right, and I asked for a script for my muscle relaxants, yeah? Now, I had given him the paperwork that Elaine gave me, and he'd written it all out, right? He gave me a script of muscle relaxants for 5 tablets 3 times a day. It was so much, right, that the pharmacist flagged it, and he's like, do you have any idea why your doctor has done this when your last one was 1.5? And I said, absolutely no idea whatsoever, have no clue. Me and Merv were like, well, he's done it for a reason, obviously. Like, let's see what happens. I was so sick. I became so sick. Like, Merv had to, he read and read all this stuff, and we had to dramatically drop it, right? When I went in the second time, this time I recorded the conversation, and first thing I said to him was, why did you increase my tablets to 5 3 times a day? Because that's what you wanted, he says. I said, no, I didn't. I said, at no point did I ever ask for that. He goes, you came in here and you demanded 5 tablets 3 times a day. I said, at no point have those words ever left my mouth, ever. I said, because I thought 5 tablets 3 times a day is insane. And he was like, it is insane. It's far too high. I didn't want to give it to you, but I didn't want to argue with you either, so I did. Now tell me how that's okay.
That's no.
I personally think the man needs to be professionally held accountable. To tell me that I was sexually assaulted when he didn't even know me. I know this from years and years and years of therapy, that I know that throughout the foster care that I have no memory, none of this. I have seen so many psychiatrists, it's unfucking believable. I don't need to be told anymore. I am aware of what I know that I've forgotten, but for a man who has 2 minutes, I reckon I was sitting in there when he said that. And that is not something you just fucking wash off like a water off a duck's back and all the rest of the crap. I am It just feels like, and now all I've been doing is just second guessing every single thing, because I still do have the house in Melbourne, but I don't want to go back there. I do want to live with Merv, but I've said to him,
and commit to it, and then you problem solve it. And
can you make me another appointment for you, like tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then I will just, like, I am this close to having my insurance increase from Silver Hospital to Gold Hospital and getting a referral, because I have gone from feeling like, oh my God, I genuinely know what happiness is, to holy fuck, I'm about to be homeless. Yeah. The caravan is in the fucking yard, right? We've got it, wonderful. Like, the car has no air conditioning because I got ripped off. The air conditioning in the caravan, something needs to be fixed because it's making a noise that feels like it could kill people. And it literally just feels like one thing after another. And now I don't know who to trust. And it's so hard because the only person I am blaming is me for everything. And yes, I'm mad at Merv because Merv hasn't verbally said what I've asked him to, because I've told him, and he keeps saying it shouldn't need to be said, and I was like, but everything it does need to be said, and I have been treated so badly.
The only person who he needs to discuss that with is you. Defending your honor, Olivia, doesn't change who you are, and it doesn't change your relationship with Merv. And it won't change their opinion of you.
What changed the relationship, Nicole, is the fact that he didn't fucking, like, I should not have been in that car. I should not have been there. Obviously, it was preempted. I took cigarettes. Let's face it, I knew shit was going to happen, right? Hard to be mad at him when he's fucking ripped himself open from limb to limb, for sure. But then he's got his dollar friend fucking man who, they came over, they keep trying to gaslight me. Oh, your birthday. Oh, we invited them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and now they're saying that we said nothing. And I'm just like, what the fuck, yeah? I walk in from putting the washing out, the whole family's here, the kids I adore. Like, I spent, like, I reckon $170 on putting Ellie's frickin' present together for her, right? And yet there was a day, I know we got to finish up, but there was a day that Dollar Man, me and Merv were outside. They were talking about his son who's going to be going to uni in the next year or so and what he wants to do. And they were telling me, at this point of the conversation, the father knew fuck all. He knew basically roundabout stuff, and they were having a conversation. So you know me, I love to research. I researched because at this point, Allie was so hard. Merv was telling a story because she was so heartbroken that her big brother's moving away to uni. And that's when they were like, we don't even know if there are unis and this and that. So I went and did all of this research and found literally what you could call the most perfect degree. It's a 5-year degree specializing in exactly what this kid wants to do in Gladstone, on campus, when he can live from home. And I did all of that, right? And sent it to the dad and said, please, and that. And then so last night, school's going back, I asked the kids, how do you feel? And the son was telling saying what subjects he's excited for. And when he said engineering, I was like, oh my God, that reminds me. What did you think of the link I sent your dad to pass along? And I was like, oh, I found the most perfect one. It's exactly what you wanted. And the son's eyes lit up, right? He was excited, but also very confused, right?
You haven't been given it.
Yeah, but instead of Dollar Man just saying, I forgot, he threw me under the bus and was so disrespectful, I literally got up and walked out, right? He looked at me, and then he was like, he doesn't need to do any of that. We've done all of that long before you get here. He doesn't need to see anything new. And I was just like, thanks for coming. I got shit to do, and I walked out. And then I went into my room, and then I realised I really did have shit to do because I needed to email you and Elaine. And then I thought, fuck this shit. I live here. So I came out and I picked up everything I needed, put it in my room. I came back out, got myself a drink, went back into my room, and I made sure I said thank you to the kids. I said thank you to the wife, and then I walked back out away. And I was just like, I, that kid, everyone, of course he deserves to see it. All he had to do was say he forgot. It's literally in the messages. You can just scroll it back up, man. But instead he chose to make me feel like I'm nothing again.
I'm seeing his trend.
Oh, he's an absolute cunt of a fucking person as far as I'm concerned.
We may not be his friend. Fine.
Oh, I've told Merv I just whatever. I can't be around the man. I will never step foot on his property again. If he comes here, I will go to my room. I won't be around him, that's for sure. But I know I ruin all my therapy sessions take so fucking long for me to tell you what the hell's going on. I can't even get any actual fucking help because I'm done. Even though you were 15, 20 minutes late, but whatever. I'm sorry, I'm not coping because I literally feel like I feel like if I can get to the big picture, every time I snap myself out of how fucking angry I am, I can see it as a good thing, you know? Traveling, do this, blah, 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 blah. I can see all the good stuff, but then just so much shit keeps happening. And I've told Merv, he absolutely must get his hearing checked pronto, because the only reason I'm not losing my shit about yesterday is simply because I choose to believe he did not hear what the bastard said, right?
And he needs to read all of his messages the whole way.
Oh, he knows that. I've told him, do not ever skip a fucking word ever again.
I'm gonna make you a more urgent appointment.
Yeah, like real urgent appointment, please. Yeah. Because I'm not kidding. I'm like, I've just gone through a nightmare with my health insurance. I've finally got it back, but I will pay whatever I pay if that means, because I love therapy and I'm not coping. But yeah, absolutely the next appointment you can, because I need to I need to go through this now that you know what's going on.
I'm on it. And email me as well.
I will. I'm going to email you because I've got to email Elaine too, because the health system up here is very different to Victoria. And believe you me, if anything is better in Victoria, it's the health system down there.
Irony.
I know, right? But that is where I'm at. But yeah, please book me in an urgent appointment.
I'll get you in.
Thank you.
We'll put a star.
Oh, I've actually got an appointment with Nicole to do the paperwork for this one in like 2 days or something. So yeah. Yeah. The paperwork thing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you very soon, I promise.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, darling. Bye. Bye. Well, that's that for today. Hey, people.